Hello friends, let's see the joints of the thorax. We already know that the thoracic bony framework it is continuously moving part of the body because of the respiration, and that's why it is very important to understand the joints of the thorax. We already know that there are 12 ribs, and these 12 ribs they are going to articulate posteriorly with the vertebral column. How they are going to articulate with the vertebral column, we are going to see them soon. But anteriorly, all these ribs they are connected with the costal cartilage through the costochondral joint. And this costal cartilage, it is nothing but it is the anterior unossified part of the cartilaginous rib. And in case of the upper seven ribs, these cartilages which are going to articulate directly with the lateral border of the sternum, while the costal cartilage of rib number 8, 9, 10 they directly attach with the upper higher cartilage, while the 11th and 12th ribs they are floating, and the costal cartilage of 11th and 12th rib they are floating within the muscular portion of the posterior abdominal wall. So here in this figure, this is the bony framework. Here in this figure, this is the first chondrosternal joint, and this first chondrosternal joint it is primary cartilaginous in nature, while the remaining chondrosternal joints they are plain variety of the synovial joint. When we talk about the costochondral joint, this costochondral joint they are present somewhere here, and this costochondral joint they are between the rib and the costal cartilage, and these costochondral joints are primary cartilaginous in nature. As we know, the costal cartilage of rib number 8, rib number 9 and rib number 10 they are going to articulate with the above higher costal cartilage inferior border, and these joints these are plain synovial joint except with the ninth and the 10th rib, and this ninth and 10th rib joint these are fibrous in nature. Now two more joints are also present within this bony framework of the thoracic cavity, and these are between the parts of the sternum. The first one that is present here, this is the manubriosternal joint, and this manubriosternal joint it is the secondary cartilaginous joint. This manubriosternal joint it is responsible for the movement of the body of the sternum during inspiration as well as the expiration. So very slight amount of the movement is possible with this manubriosternal joint. Below, at this level, the joint between the body of the sternum and xiphoid process, this is called as the xiphisternal joint, and this xiphisternal joint it is the primary cartilaginous joint. So we have already complete all these types of the joints from the anterior aspect of the bony framework. While now let's see the joints which are present on the posterior aspect of the bony framework, and these are between the ribs and the vertebral column. Now let's see the costovertebral joint. The costovertebral joint which is present somewhere here in the posterior aspect where the head of the rib is going to articulate with the two vertebrae. When we magnify this figure, this costovertebral joint it is going to be formed by the head of the rib, and the head of the rib having two articular facet. One upper articular facet it is smaller and it is going to articulate with the above higher numbrical vertebrae, while the lower articular facet it is larger, and this lower larger articular facet which is going to articulate with the corresponding numbrical vertebrae. So suppose this rib which is going to form the costovertebral joint here is the third rib, then this should be T2 vertebrae and this should be T3 vertebrae. In between the two articular facets there is one crest, and this crest gives the attachment of the interarticular disc of the costovertebral joint. So when we magnify this image here and see the ligaments within the costovertebral joint, this is the, suppose this is the third rib, then this is the T2 vertebrae and this one is the T3 vertebrae, where this upper smaller articular facet on the head of the third rib, which is going to articulate with the T2 vertebrae, while the lower larger articular facet within the head of the first rib, which is going to articulate with the corresponding numerical T3 vertebrae. And the crest between the two articular facets of the head of the rib, which gives attachment of the interarticular disc, and this interarticular disc which is going to connect with the intervertebral disc. This costovertebral joint, it also having a capsular attachment, and this capsular attachment, it is with the just beyond the facets of the head to the vertebrae of one higher one and the corresponding numerical. So for the third rib, the capsule is attached with the T2 vertebrae above and T3 vertebrae below. One more ligament is there which is present on the anterior aspect of the capsule, and here on the left side we have shown this ligament, and this ligament, it is the triradiate ligament, or it is also named as radiate ligament. And this triradiate or the radiate ligament having three bands, one upper band, one middle band and one lower band. The upper band, it is going to attach with one vertebrae higher, and the lower band, it is going to attach with the corresponding numerical vertebrae, while the middle band, which is going to blend with the intervertebral disc, and it is going to form the hypochondral bow. This costovertebral joint, it is a plain variety of the synovial joint and having two joint cavities within it, which is separated by the interarticular disc. One more important joint is also present with the rib and the corresponding numerical vertebrae, and that is with the transverse process of that vertebrae and the tubercle of the rib, and this is the costotransverse joint. This costotransverse joint, it lies between the tubercle of the rib, which is present on the posterior aspect just lateral to the neck of the rib, and the other articular surface, it is going to be formed by the costal facet, which is present on the transverse process of the corresponding numerical vertebrae. This costotransverse joint, it is a plain variety of the synovial joint and having three important ligaments concerned with it. And three ligaments are the superior costotransverse ligament, inferior costotransverse ligament and the lateral costotransverse ligament. Here in the figure on the left side, we can appreciate this ligament is the superior costotransverse ligament. And the superior costotransverse ligament, it has two lamina, one anterior lamina and one posterior lamina. The superior costotransverse ligament, it is attached on the crest of the neck of the rib, and this crest of the neck of the rib, which is present on the upper border of the neck of the rib. And the upper attachment of the superior costotransverse ligament, it is with the one vertebrae higher to the transverse process lower border. This anterior lamina of the costotransverse ligament, it is continuous, or it is going to blend with the internal intercostal membrane, which is a part of the internal intercostalis muscle, while this posterior lamina of this superior costotransverse ligament, it is going to blend with the muscular fibers of the external intercostalis muscle. For the orientation of the inferior costotransverse ligament, we have to see this superior figure, and here this is the inferior costotransverse ligament, and this inferior costotransverse ligament, it is attached with the posterior border of the neck of the rib, and attach with the anterior aspect of the transverse process of the corresponding numerical vertebrae. When we see the lateral costotransverse ligament, this is the lateral costotransverse ligament and it is attached with the non-articular portion of the tubercle of the rib to the tip of the corresponding numerical transverse process of the vertebrae. So this ligament, it is the lateral costotransverse ligament. The articular facets of the rib of the costotransverse ligament on the upper six ribs, they are convex, and this upper six ribs convex articular facet, it permits the rotatory movement, and this rotatory movement will lead to increase into the anteroposterior diameter, and this is called as pump handle movement. While in the 7th to 10th ribs, this articular facet on the ribs for the costotransverse ligament, it is flat in nature and it is responsible for the gliding movement, and this gliding movement is responsible for the bucket handle movement, and this bucket handle movement is responsible for increase in the transverse diameter of the thoracic cavity. So this is all about the joints of the thorax in very brief manner. Hope you understand well. Thanks for watching.